FBA. Respectfully, I'm going to go with both groups because they represent basically the same thing, but there are differences, right? So ADOS,
which is a descendant of
no,
slavery.
they're first. FBA comes later.
Okay.
Okay, but they both exist. FBA is more popular, right?
Okay.
ADOS, FBA. I don't have a problem with the American African people seeing the need to make it clear to other branches of the global African family that when you come here, you need to be clear that we built the house and rolled out the carpet for you. Be respectful in my home the same way you would want for me to be respectful in your home. So the concept of that American African identity, I have no issue with it. It needs to be done. It needs to be said. This is not new. What is new about it is the adversarial stance that they are taking.
Guys, the Pan-Africans are crashing out. Umar Johnson wants to now call us Africans in America or some dumb shit. I mean, guys, Jesse Jackson barely just passed, and he was the one who reclassified us as African in the first place in 1988. And now we got Umar Johnson trying to racially reclassify us yet again. Come on, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's get into what bullshit Umar Johnson has to say about indigenous Black Americans now.
Black geneticists out here, so we can shut down all this delusional, utopian, ridiculous nonsense. But here's my thing. If you don't want to be black, that's your right. I don't want to claim nobody who don't want to be claimed. All I'm saying, if you're going to mislead my people into re-identifying themselves as something other than their original birthright, can you please get some resources?
Okay. All right. He said if there's somebody out there that wants to reclassify our people from our original birthright, he's talking about the colonial term Black that was forced on us through colonization and slavery. Yeah, apparently that's our birthright now, guys. Our opposition who raped our mama and stole our land, they labeled us Black, and Umar Johnson wants to reinforce it. Okay, strange behavior. You would say he's paid opposition at this point. I mean, goddamn. But he asked for evidence. He asked for proof. Guys, in society, across America, I live life as a quote-unquote Black man. People see me and they think that's a Black American right there. Funny part about that is I'm actually an American Indian, citizen of the Muskogee Creek Nation. My ancestors are documented as prominent American Indians. So should I renounce my tribal citizenship? Should I forget about my indigenous ancestors? Or should I follow some random nigga on the internet who's a pan goofy trying to convince us to identify as an African?
Fabrication of information on the application. And you middle class pretendians, y'all really gonna get in trouble.
Guys, I don't know what a middle class pretendian is, but I guess by Umar Johnson's standards, I would be a high class. I would be an elite pretendian. Oh, damn, you're playing with your nose. We know what motion that is. Homie just took him a line.
Go to Home Depot for a job, and I want you to put the we need some we to claim nobody who don't want to be claimed. All I'm saying, if you're going to mislead my people into re-identifying themselves as something other than their original birthright, can you please get some resources? Go to Walmart, go to Home Depot for a job, and I want you to put down, I am a Choctaw Indian. With your black ass, tell them you are a Choctaw. My grandmother, I'm a Choctaw. Put that on the job application, and you will not get hired for fabrication of information.
Yeah, that's false. Even if you don't have tribal citizenship like I do, we all can follow the right of self-determination. If you applied for a job and check the box that says Native American/American Indian, they would not call you fabrication of identification. They don't know your family. They don't know your genealogy. They're not policing race, but let a pseudo Negro on the internet convince you that we can't put American Indian on our records. Funny thing about that is when I fly, and I fly regularly, I don't even need a real ID. I literally hand this tribal citizenship ID card to TSA. And when I go through TSA and I give TSA that card, they don't say, "Sir, put your hands behind your back. You have fraudulent information documentation." You know what they actually do? A lot of them are not familiar with federal tribal identification cards, so they get a supervisor. One of two things happens. The supervisor looks at my card and says, "Oh yeah, he's an American Indian, let him through." Or if the supervisor also isn't familiar with it, TSA literally has a book of recognized tribes, and they pull up a book and find my tribe's name in the book, and then they let me through. But let Umar Johnson tell it, we can't identify as American Indian. Oh, okay.
On the application. And you middle class pretendians, y'all really gonna get in trouble. Marcus Garvey was a decoy to lead Native Americans. I'm not a Native American. Let me get you off here. There go another African. He thinks he's a Cherokee Indian. Here's what I want.
Damn, that's very rude of you, Umar. Marcus Garvey was paid opposition. Marcus Garvey was a tether, if you will. He was a foreigner. He was from Jamaica, and he tried to come to mainland USA to convince our ancestors to get on his fraudulent, scamming ass cruise line and go to Africa. I say fraudulent, scamming ass cruise line because, guys, just Google Marcus Garvey. He scammed our community with this go back to Africa shit. And because he scammed and perpetrated fraud, he was actually put in prison by our government. And guess what? When he got out of prison, did he go to Africa like he was trying to tell us to do? No, he went to London. Motherfucker died in Europe. He never went to Africa. Just like Umar Johnson is always trying to talk about we Africans, but he's broadcasting from our ancestral homeland, not Africa, right? Guys, it's weird. Umar says, "Oh, stop with that. This Africoon identifies as a Choctaw. I'm not Indian." Umar, guess what? You're not Indian. You descend from Africans sold by their fellow African to Europeans for trinkets and trafficked to the Caribbean. Umar Johnson actually has Cuban heritage, African lineage. But you know what? It's crazy. He's a descendant of Africans. He identifies as African, and nobody's telling him that he needs to identify as something else. But when you see people like us identifying with our proven, documented indigenous roots, these Pan-Africans start crashing out. It's like a cult. It's like a virus. They can't just think they're Africans and be African. They have to try to convince all of us that we're Africans too.
I want to say to my indigenous, Aboriginal, Native American Africans, all pretendians, listen to me. All pretendians. If you are a fake Native American, I need you to listen to me really well. All pretendians, all Aboriginal, indigenous, I'm not from Africa, American Negroes. Listen to me really well. I need you to listen to me. All pretendians, listen. When are you going to get some Native American resources for our people? Because all I keep hearing about is names and titles. Where are the resources? I'm challenging the pretendian community. I pretend to be Indian. I'm challenging the pretendian community. I pretend to be Indian. I'm challenging the pretendian community to get some Native American resources for our people. Can you please do that? Because all I'm hearing about is a whole bunch of words and titles and name changes. Where are the resources for the pretendian nation? My Cherokee coons, where are the resources? Because telling our people to call themselves Cherokee ain't fixed no problem in America yet. Telling our people to call themselves pretendicoons ain't fix a single problem we have.
Interesting. And what has convincing our people to identify as African accomplished exactly? Our ancestors already went through the okie doke. All through the 70s, 80s, 90s, they was Pan-African, rocking kufis and ankhs and daishikis and shit. What did we get in return? What resources did we get? Did we get dual citizenship with an African nation? Did we get some trade agreements, some partnership? We didn't get a goddamn thing from the movement of Pan-Africanism. All we got is African immigrants coming to our ancestral homeland, trying to disrespect us and take our place. So it's crazy how he's trying to say, hey, you Native Black Americans, what have you got from identifying as Native Black American? Well, I got to ask you the same question. What has the Pan-African community got us other than tourism packages to Egypt? Other than shea butter? Okay.
Where are the institutions? Where are the resources? Where are the opportunities where I'm challenging the fake Cherokees, the fake Choctaws, the fake Seminoles? I'm challenging the Aboriginals, all of you Negroes using white people's words, all of you New Age Native Americans
using white people's words. He identifies as African. Isn't Africa, African, a white man's word? Didn't the Romans name Africa, Africa? Double standard, Umar.
Using white people words to describe yourself. Can you please produce some resources? What good is telling people they a Cherokee and you ain't got no damn jobs, you ain't got no schools, you ain't got no damn banks? What good?
Actually, me and my tribe have all of the above. The Muskogee Creek Nation has colleges. We have hospitals. We have casinos. He's talking about what benefits, what resources. Guess what, guys? You know what I motivate you guys to do? What me and my family did. Me and my family in 2021 traced our genealogy, found our indigenous ancestors, and got tribal citizenship with the tribe of our ancestors. And guess what we've received? Tangible resources. For example, here's a small one. When COVID happened and the US government gave US citizens like payments of $1,200 or so, guess what? I got my $1,200 payments for being a US citizen. And on top of that, I got 2 cash payments of $4,000 for being a member of a federally recognized tribe. Me and my family get free healthcare, free college tuition, down payment assistance for home loans. The resources are tenfold. But let Umar tell you, there's no benefit, there's no resources in doing your genealogy and becoming a tribal citizen of the tribe of your ancestors. Okay. Meanwhile, I'm reaping the benefits, guys. I'm reaping the benefits. He's talking about what jobs. Guess what? I own a contracting business. When I apply for a government contract, I get pushed to the front of the line. Why? Because of something called the American Indian Preference Act. Look it up. It was created in like the 80s or the 90s. But Umar Johnson's going to tell you there's no benefit to being recognized as an American Indian. My tribe's reservation includes the city of Tulsa, the city of Okmulgee. Black Americans for generations have seen Black Wall Street as a source of pride and inspiration. Did you know Black Wall Street was founded in Indian territory by Black Indians who were using their federal Dawes Commission land allotments to start successful Black cities all across Indian territory? This is before Oklahoma even became the state of Oklahoma. Black Wall Street is built by Black Indians, but someone like Umar is going to tell you, what have Black Indians accomplished? Okay.
Is telling people they Choctaw. You can't stop no police brutality. You ain't got no medical services for nobody. Where is the damn resources for the pretendians? Where is the Aboriginal Native Black Medical Center? Where is the Indigenous Aboriginal University? Where is it? Where is the Pretendian Cherokee Employment Center? Where
is the Pan-African hospital, the Pan-African school? Matter of fact, it's funny that he's talking about institutions when he's literally scammed our community out of millions of dollars, claiming he's going to build a school that's never going to be built.
Are you solving our people's problems with these damn labels? Where? Not one of these pretendians has any resources set up for our people. All they're giving them is a superficial name change. A superficial name change.
Hi, my name is Frances Tuck, and I contacted Mike from Mike TV on YouTube because I wanted to find out about my family's Native American history that I believed existed. Through the research that I was able to do through Mike TV, I was able to find out that our name is indeed on the registry. I had a consultation with Mike today, and because of his advice and the research that he has done, I am now confident that I'm able to find my family's roots in the Native American history database. Thank you, Mike.
If I'm wrong, can somebody tell me? If there is one pretendian community in America, can I please have a physical address? If there is a single pretendian community in the United States, can somebody give me a physical address? If I'm wrong, I will donate to the Pretendian Credit Union. Can somebody give me the physical address to the Pseudo-Cherokee Nation? I need an address to the Pretendian Cherokee Nation, the Pretendian Choctaws. Where is your land? Where is your institutions? Where is your army? You're telling our people to stop being African and come be a pretendian, and you don't even have a damn hot dog. Can they get a hot sausage with some relish and sauerkraut from your ass? No, brothers and sisters, I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm trying to read the word of the greatest Pan-Africanist of all time. I'm trying to help our people understand and overstand their African responsibilities. And we got Cherokees, we got fake Choctaws interrupting the live. We got fake Native Americans knowing damn well they got African blood in their body, talking about they ain't left nothing in Africa. Chinese geneticists have already admitted the original ancestor of China was an African. Chinese geneticists.
We're not Chinamen. What the fuck does that have to do with us? Guess what? That makes a lot of sense that the Chinese come from Africans, because that's all one continent. Africa is connected to the Middle East, which is connected to Asia, which is connected to Europe. So I'm not surprised if everybody on that hemisphere descends from a richly melanated person. But why are these fucking goofies so surprised that on the Western hemisphere, these indigenous tribes also descended from richly melanated people?
Just admitted last year the original ancestor of China was African. The East Indian geneticists have already admitted the original ancestor of East India was an African.
And American geneticists have already found the skeletal remains of a woman called Louisa, who's a Black indigenous figure from Central or South America. What's the point, Umar? Do I believe that the original people of the Eastern Hemisphere were richly melanated? Yes. Just like the original inhabitants of this Western Hemisphere. But someone like Umar wants you to think that the Black man created the Asians and the Europeans, but there was no Black folks in the Americas until some Africans got sent here as slaves.
Our brothers and sisters in the South Pacific have already admitted the original ancestor of the islands of the South Pacific was an African. Our Australian ancestors have already admitted the original inhabitant of Australia was an African. This has been proven scientifically. This has been proven genetically. This has been proven anthropologically. In Mexico, the original ancestor of Mexico was an African from the continent. So can somebody...
No, that's false. Was it a melanated person, a negroid person, as they say? Yes. Was it an African? No. No anthropologist, no historian, nobody has ever cited that Africans were the original inhabitants of the Americas. That is pseudo garbage. Did Africans at one point circumnavigate the globe? Yes. Did American Indians at one point circumnavigate the globe? Yes. Did we have trade relations? Yes. They found gold-tipped spears with tribes in the Caribbean. The Spanish conquistadors took the gold, took it back to Spain to test it. The gold came from West Africa. Just because we was trading with some fucking Africans back in the day don't mean we all descend from Africans, Umar.
Somebody help me understand. Can somebody help me understand? How is it everybody on earth of color, every people of color on the planet of earth, and y'all know I hate to use people of color. You know I hate to use people of color. You know I hate to use people of color. But brown people say their first ancestor was an African. Red people, their first...
You hate to use the term people of color, but you use the term brown people and red people. Okay. Sound logic. I hate to use the term people of color, but let me refer to people instead by crayon colors. Brown people, red people. Guys, he's so low IQ.
First ancestor was an African. Yellow people, their first ancestor was an African. But you mean to tell me the ones who look the most like the African, which is the American African, you look just like my Nigerian brothers and sisters. You look just like my Ghanaian brothers and sisters.
Guys, do I look like a Nigerian? Let me get some zeros in the chat for no, a 1 in the chat for yes. Do I look like a Ghanaian? Have you ever seen an African this complexion without a European parent? Have you ever seen an African with light skin and freckles? Guys, it's crazy. It's like people just are on this, take my word for it, bro. You guys look like Africans. But if we actually pull up side-by-side photos of us and Africans, we don't look nothing like them. Phenotype has so much more to do than just... Phenotype is more than complexion. What are you talking about? Melanin is not exclusive to Africa.
You look just like my Congolese brothers and sisters, but yet you not from Africa. Lord have mercy. You know what we're going to do? We need some black geneticists. We got any black geneticists out there? We're going to shut all this shit down. Where are the black? We need to have a black geneticist conference so we can shut down all this delusional, utopian, self-hating rhetoric. We need some black geneticists out here so we can shut down all this delusional, utopian, ridiculous nonsense. But here's my thing. If you don't want to be black, that's your right. I don't want to claim nobody who don't want to be claimed. All I'm saying, if you're going to mislead my people into re-identifying themselves as something other...
Come on, y'all. He hates to use the term person of color, but he wants to call us black when none of us are the color black.
Than their original birthright. Can you please get some resources? Can you open up a dollar store? Can you open up a tire repair shop for the pretendians? What are you going to do for them once they start calling themselves a pretendian? Do you have a hot dog stand? Do you sell water ice? Do you got some oranges and apples? Ninja?
What the hell is water ice? And you already used the hot dog quip, Umar. You're running out of material. Do you have a hot dog stand? Do you sell water ice? Ice is frozen water, dumb nigga. I'm so confused, guys. And the sad part is, there's a lot of uneducated people in our community who watch him and just fall for this bullshit. Clearly, he's a government agent. Clearly, he's paid opposition. Clearly, we're living through COINTELPRO 2.0. You know how I can tell? Because check this out, guys. These Pan-Africans can't just be Pan-African. Why can't he just identify as an African, be a proud African, and leave us alone? It's like a virus. They've got to convince everyone else they're African too.
You damn intellectual masturbating pretendians. What do you have to offer our people? What do you have to offer our people? Can you make some damn hot dog? Do you have a can of beans for the hungry homeless? This is what I.
Meanwhile, Pan-Africans can't offer us a damn thing. Africans can't offer us a damn thing. They don't even control their continent. They don't control their resources. I can't get the plug on some diamonds from an African. The Jews control their diamonds. I can't get a plug on some cobalt. The Chinese control their cobalt. But we supposed to identify as fucking Africans. Okay. Africans are fleeing here en masse to try to replace us, but we should identify with the people who are not related to us and trying to replace us. Okay. Guys, this is the okie doke. This is why the government pays people like a Garvey, a Umar to spout this dumb shit. If you believe that you descend from an African slave, then guess what? If you ever get that bug of rebellion, if you ever want to advocate for something, the most that you will ever advocate for is freedom from slavery. Maybe even some civil rights. But if you knew that you were indigenous to this land, that your ancestors were colonized, enslaved in place, reclassified, taken as prisoners of war, then guess what? You wouldn't just want freedom from slavery. You wouldn't just want civil rights, but you would want your land back. And these white folks don't want to go back to Europe. So how do they keep us from advocating for our land back? By convincing us that we come from a whole nother place. You see the okie doke.
Want the pretendians to do? Go save all the homeless people. You want some pretendians? Go help all the black homeless people. Find them a house. There you go. They will all be a pretendian. Go and get the African homeless off the street and get them a house. There go your pretendians right there. You superficial identity Negroes. No services, no opportunities, no resources, and some of you black people are dumb enough. Some of you black people are dumb enough to think that by calling yourself a Native American, white people are going to treat you different. Some of you think if you walk into a bank and ask for a bank loan.
Do you get treated by white people for calling yourself an African? Okay. All right, Umar, not really making much sense. Meanwhile, I'm recognized by the United States government as an American Indian. Grandfather was a chief. Listed as a full-blooded Creek by blood. What are we talking about here? Let Umar tell it. Black Indians don't exist, guys. This person right here isn't a black person, guys. Can't you tell that's a white person? Can't you tell that's an Asian? Guys, this isn't a black woman, guys. That's not a black woman right there. This is a figment of our imagination. Can't you tell that this is an African? Doesn't this look just like a Yoruba? Come on, guys. We've got to stop pretending to be Indians. I mean, why are we out here trying to pretend to be Indians? Okay, Umar. All right.
And they say, what's your race? You're going to put Native American. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to reject your application on the basis that you told a lie. Fabrication of information on the application. I want you to go for a job interview and I want you to put down Cherokee Nation where it says race. And your ass is not going to get the job for fabrication of information on the application. Go ahead. Go to McDonald's. Well, McDonald's might hire you too, but go to Walmart. Go to Home.
Just finished my consultation with Mike. A lot of information in a short period of time, but it was very valuable information. I'm definitely excited to get started searching on my genealogy. He's been an awesome resource. Gave me a lot of information, a lot of things, a lot of pieces to the puzzle I didn't have. He was able to help me find them. And I 100% recommend Mike and his services to anyone who's looking to crack the code, so to speak, on their genealogy. Because there's a lot of, how we say, fake news going around with this subject, and it's very important that people are able to put the pieces together, because if you don't know your history, you don't know your future. So 100% sign up.
And I want you to put down, I am a Choctaw Indian. With your black ass, tell them you are a Choctaw. My grandmother, I'm a Choctaw. Put that on the job application, and you will not get hired for fabrication of information on the application. And you middle class pretend.
Does he think we live in like Jim Crow or something? Guys, slow down and listen to what he said, and just realize how fucking ignorant he sounds. He's really trying to convince you that if you self-identify as an American Indian, you won't get hired. Oh, because that job knows your genealogy? Because that job knows your family tree? What is the company racist? Are they going to be like, you say you're American Indian, but you look kind of dark to me. I'm not going to hire you. You're lying about being an American. What are you talking about? That's illegal, Umar. There's literally something called the Equal Opportunity Employment Act. You cannot discriminate based on race when it comes to the hiring process. What is he talking about? This is the man who claimed he used to be an educator or something, or what the fuck? guys, if you ever put American Indian on the job application and that HR person says, we don't really think you're a Native American, we're not going to hire you. Guess what? Document everything and go to your nearest attorney, because you about to get a settlement.
Indians, y'all really going to get in trouble. You a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, or you going to walk into a white firm and fill out a job application and tell them you're a Native American? They're going to tell you you're psychotic. You're going to be diagnosed with a psychotic disorder, and they're going to take your ass to the emergency room at the hospital for psychiatric screening. Go ahead. Keep playing games.
Oh, damn. It gets worse, guys. We really shouldn't do our genealogy. We really shouldn't identify as indigenous, because we'll be kidnapped and sent to the hospital and diagnosed with a medical condition. Let this dumb nigga on the internet tell it.
These white folks. Go ahead. Go ahead. Keep listening to these damn YouTubian pretendians. Go ahead and see what happens to your life. Tell your kids to go to back to school night. When your kids go to the Black History program, tell them to stand up and tell all they white classmates and white teachers, I'm not from Africa. I was already here. I am a Native American. And then the white folks are going to say, which reservation are you associated with? And you're going to say, North Philly, South Central, Baltimore.
You don't have to be associated with a reservation to be an American Indian, dumbass. Not every single American Indian relocated to a reservation. Not every single American Indian walked the Trail of Tears. Guys, I have had tribal citizenship with a tribe of my ancestors since 2021. I even lived in the state of Oklahoma for a year. And guess what? I've never visited my tribe's reservation, not once. You don't have to have any ties to a reservation to have tribal citizenship or to identify as an American Indian. You should take my word for it, because I'm an American Indian. You don't listen to some dumb nigga having an identity crisis on the internet because he's mad that his Pan-African grift is coming to an end.
DC, Atlanta. Woo! Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. I can't take it, brothers and sisters. Listen, I love being an African. I can't believe 14 days, South Africa. I got to start packing.
Damn, he loves being an African, but he don't want to live in his motherland of Africa, right, guys? Red flag when some nigga trying to tell you your motherland is over there, but he don't even want to live in his own mother's land. Okay, it's getting strange. It's getting strange. Imagine if I was in Europe talking about, guys, we're American Indians. We need to identify as American Indian. And y'all would look at me like, nigga, well, why are you in Europe then? What are we talking about?
I got to start packing. I can't wait to see. I ain't seen my South Africa family since 2016, y'all. Last time I did my national tour South Africa, that's the same year Nate Parker came out with Birth of a Nation. October 2016. Last time I've been in South Africa. October 2016. This is 2023, so it's been 7 long years. I ain't been to Africa in 4 years, so
Guys, you see why he's promoting this Pan-African bullshit. He gets paid too. How does he get paid? He gets paid for speaking engagements. He goes on tours across the world talking this dumb Pan-African shit. So you see how he's not an unbiased source, right? Guys, what do I promote? What do I try to convince you to do? Your family's genealogy. You can go to nativeblack.ancestry.com, check out tons of resources I have available, from books to courses, digital archives, you name it. But guess what? My mission and manifesto is not to convince you that you're American Indian. It's to convince you to do your genealogy and find out what your ancestors were. And if you find Africans on your family tree, then cool, you're African. If you find American Indians on your family tree, then you're American Indian. You may have a combination of the two, but you see how all I'm trying to convince you to do is research your family's heritage, and Umar's not talking about genealogy at all. Umar's never mentioned genealogy once. Umar's not talking about census records and birth certificates and death certificates and marriage documents and land allotments and land patents. Why? Because when we trace our family's genealogy, we don't find no Africans on the tree.
when I get off that airplane, I got to kiss the ground of my mother. When I get off that airplane, I got to kiss the ground because I've been away for 4 long years. I tried to read the words of Garvey. I'm going to put some of my Garvey readings on www.drumar.tv. I'm going to put some of my Garvey readings on www.
So the man is promoting a fraudulent scammer that was put in prison for scamming the Black American community, Marcus Garvey, who was also buddies with the KKK. Don't take my word for it. Google that shit. Look it up. It's out there. Guys, do we take the word of Umar Johnson, or do we take the word of park rangers? Federal government park rangers who admit themselves that Black Indians were racially reclassified.
You're probably wondering why 2 rangers in national park service are sitting in the middle of the woods with books. We have to remember, we're readers of history. We're looking for new ideas, new concepts, new ways of understanding. And sometimes sitting out here with Mother Nature is the best way to come to those revelations. Now, I'm with my good friend and ranger colleague, Dan Maharg, and Dan has been doing some research here on the communities in the Blackstone Valley and how they treated or listed the natives, the Native Americans here. Dan, what have you come up with?
Well, I got out of our park library 3 county histories, or 3 local histories. This is the history of Worcester County, written in 1879. This is history of Grafton, also written in the 19th century. And this is a 20th century history, history of Upton. And so I just looked in there for you, Chuck. I looked up Nipmuc people and wanted to see what they said. So this is Frederick Pierce's book from 1879, A History of Grafton. And in here he says that the Nipmuc people over the last 2 centuries have vanished. So totally disappeared, according to Frederick Pierce. But I was looking at a census that was done in 1992 that said that living in Worcester County now, there are 1,400 Nipmuc people. So I was a little surprised. Why does it say they vanished here? And yet nowadays we have 1,400.
That's even more amazing when you consider the town of Grafton has the Nipmuc Reservation there, the Haslam-Namisco.
Right.
And that is a centerpiece of Nipmuc culture and has been for decades, centuries.
Right.
So why would they say that those people no longer existed?
Well, that's a tough question because, like you said, Frederick Pierce obviously knew his neighbors and he knew the people living at the reservation there. And why he decided to not call them Nipmuc people is really interesting. I think it has something to do with Frederick Pierce and other people's attitude at that time, in the 19th century, their attitude about what an Indian was. And for them, what an Indian was somebody who lived out in the forest, who lived maybe in a little teepee or a wetu someplace, who mainly lived by hunting or making baskets. And as he looked around at his neighbors at Haslam-Namisco, he saw them as barbers, stone workers, factory workers, shoemakers. And he said, well, these people aren't living the way I think Indians live. So therefore, I'm not going to call them Indians. I'm just going to assume that they've vanished. And I think that's why in these local histories, you don't find descriptions of Native people as they're living, as shoemakers. They're not being described as Native and factory workers.
Because that would go against our romanticized view of the Indian.
Right, they're not living in the forest, so therefore they're not Indian according to these folks.
It must be very difficult for people to overcome that kind of stereotype. The only way you can be an Indian or Indianness would be out in the woods, where how are you going to make a living and fit into society?
Right, so for Nipmuc people, this must have been particularly a difficult time to live, because here you have a bunch of people in the dominant culture, the white culture, let's say, saying, you've all vanished. You're no longer Nipmuc people. And you have Nipmuc people saying, well, I consider myself a Nipmuc person. I have a family heritage. I have a set of beliefs. And I have a community that I live with that for me is distinctly Nipmuc. At the same time, you have the white culture saying, no, you're shoemakers now. And more importantly, you're a person of color. You're no longer a Nipmuc person. And that.
Oh, so the Nipmuc were reclassified as persons of color. And we all know that people of color later get reclassified in census records as Black, Negro, mulatto, but they always end up being African Americans in the end. Let's talk about it. Do we take the word of Umar Johnson, or do we listen to two federal park rangers confessing that indigenous people were reclassified racially?
Shows Nipmuc. At the same time, you have the white culture saying, no, you're shoemakers now. And more importantly, you're a person of color. You're no longer a Nipmuc person. And that shows through in these county histories and also in the census records at the time. You find a person described in the 1860 census as an Indian. In the 1870 census, they're described as a person of color or a colored person. Same person, but the census taker, as part of the white dominant society, decides that this person is no longer Nipmuc.
There was kind of an ethnic cleansing with a pen going on. And it was, if you did not have white skin, you were considered black.
Oh, the park rangers was sugarcoating it a little bit. They was talking about, the Nipmuc got reclassified as persons of color. But we talked to one of the indigenous ladies, and she's like, no. It was a paper genocide of the pen. If you were not white, you were black. But let Umar tell it, we're just pretendians, ashamed to be African. I mean, what? Huh?
It was kind of an ethnic cleansing with a pen going on. And it was, if you did not have white skin, you were considered black. And a lot of times, I mean, even today, you go into the town halls and you see where people have actually written over the records, where it was put in that they were Indian, and someone went in and wrote black over it.
She says you can look at the records. Someone was documented as Indian, and they crossed it out and wrote in black. But let Umar Johnson tell it, none of us have Indigenous American roots. Okay.
Put see where people have actually written over the records, where it was put in that they were Indian, and someone went in and wrote black over it. And you can actually see in censuses from time to time where they may have been Indian in the first 3 censuses, and then the last 6 of their life, they're considered black. But you know.
Damn. Whoa. Just like my grandfather, who was the Chief Justice of the Muskogee Creek Nation, listed on the Dawes Roll as a full-blooded Indian, but the 1900 United States Census classifies him as black. Damn. Hey, at least I cite sources. At least I can prove my claims, while Umar is just a nigga in his mama's closet yelling at Instagram Live. I mean, there's a big difference between scholarship and theatrics. Come on, y'all. Come on. Who they gonna listen to? I guess it's me if it isn't you.
Also notice something else on those censuses, that they were together here, and they're still together here. It hasn't mattered what people have decided to do you know, how they wanted to do what they wanted to do, we've stuck together.
Beneath the myth of disappearance that is in all of these published books from the early 1800s on, beneath that is the fact of the Indian presence. And the very same books that will say the Indians disappeared will then proceed to tell you all about the Indians that they know that are part of their communities. And what is abundantly clear through the secondary sources and through the overseers' records, the Indian overseers' records, is that the Indians never disappeared. They're always here. The Nipmuc presence and persistence is...
Damn, let's pause on this image. Come on, y'all. Come on. Come on. Guys, we share phenotype more so with folks that look like this than continental Africans. Come on. Let's talk about it. Umar is going to tell you you look like an African while not showing you a photo of an African. I will tell you that you most likely have people in your family that share this phenotype, depending on the geographic area in America that they lived. And guess what? Here's the pictures to back it. What are we talking about? You got a grandmama that looks like her? Or do you got a grandmama that looks like her? Let's talk about it. Many know about slavery, but few discuss paper genocide. We did not all come from Africa, and most of us have Aboriginal roots that were stripped away due to reclassification and miseducation. As a native Black American and a member of the Muskogee Creek Nation, I understand the importance of tracing your lineage. If you want to learn how to trace your genealogy and apply for tribal citizenship, go to nativeblackancestry.com to schedule a consultation.
They don't want you to remember this. You not no slave, you indigenous. Fuck how they painted them Indians. You went to war with the French and the British, man. Quite frankly, you was kings, Merovingians. They took the women and men, made them prisoners, raised up the children to worship their images, set up a lab to the genes and they mixed them, and this shit get way deeper than your pigment.